My husband's girl best friend is pregnant and says it's his. Update. My husband came home around 6 in the morning to where he threw his keys on the side and went upstairs without saying anything to me. I thought this was a little rude and I walked up after him telling him we need to talk, but he said he was tired and needed to sleep, which just made me angry because I was serious. I told him halfway up the stairs that I knew about him and Laura, to which he then looked at me confused. I explained my side in the text and what it seemed like, and he ended up laughing in my face. This filled me up with so much petty rage because I have had enough of being walked on, so I pushed past him into our room and got out a suitcase from under the bed, and started to pack his stuff for him. He started shouting at me saying really horrible things, but I didn't hear most of it since I was crying uncontrollably and busy ramming every item of clothing he owned. Most of it didn't fit, but he could come collect it later. One insult that stood out to me was crazy BTCH, and this is where I snapped and said some horrible things too. I know I called him a bad husband, but in more of a ruder tone. He ended up leaving with his suitcase I packed in a plastic bag after I said I would get my dad involved if he didn't leave. After, I took a recommended comment and told my family everything. My brother didn't care, but my father was so angry there might have been steam coming from the phone after the call. I haven't heard from my soon-to-be ex-husband, but his response to my question was complete disrespect, and I wasn't able to hold it in for much longer. I'm sure what I did was a complete overreaction and was regretting it, till I texted Laura's mother since I said I would do that. She didn't reply till 11 in the morning, but basically what happened is that she only met my husband 2 years ago, which I'm guessing is through the time of constant overtime from him. He is also staying there currently. This made me so angry that I texted Laura something petty, which I don't regret. I hadn't replied to her yet, so I told her that she can have him, and I can't wait till the same things happen to her and she gets cheated on. She's not replied yet or seen it. I have screenshot everything she said in the picture and will be calling a lawyer later on. Nothing else has really happened. If it does, I will give another update. Thanks everyone.
I broke up with my girlfriend over her body count. Just as the title says, a couple of days ago me and my girlfriend, now ex, of 5 months, were talking at a party and we were both a bit drunk and she started asking me about my past. She knew I've only been in one relationship before her, but what she was really interested in was my intimate history, so I jokingly agreed to answer anything as long as she did the same. Now I've only slept with 3 people in my life including her, and I knew that she had also only been in one serious relationship before me, so I expected her answer to be about the same, but she admitted that she had slept with 24 people before me. I thought she was joking, but she explained in greater detail and it was clear she was 100% serious. At that point I wasn't in the mood for any more partying, so I headed home for the night. I couldn't sleep thinking about it, and I can't really explain why it bothers me so much, but I knew this was something I wasn't getting over, so when she woke up I went to her apartment and broke up with her. She started breaking down and asking me to explain why. I really didn't want to tell her, but she kept asking for an explanation and I thought it would be unfair to not tell her, so I told her and she started breaking down even more and apologizing to me, which made me feel super guilty. I kept telling her she didn't have to apologize to me as she didn't do anything wrong, and she asked me why I was breaking up with her then, and I honestly didn't know what to answer. Eventually she calmed down and I headed home, but she's been bombarding me with messages still apologizing and telling me that if she could turn back time she would have never touched any of those guys and that she regrets it. I believe I'm justified in leaving her since I know that this isn't something I can get over and that I'll never see her the same, but I still feel super guilty about it all, especially since I can't really explain why it bothers me so much. I wish I just didn't care about it all so we could have just kept being happy together, but 25 people. I just don't know what to do. I feel really guilty for feeling this way, and even more because I know she's suffering for something she can't change now. I'm also checking in on her to make sure she's okay and trying to comfort her the best I can, but now I'm thinking that maybe it's cruel of me to do that because it'll make it harder for her on the long run, and that maybe it's better for her if I stay more distant. I'm at a loss as to what to do or if it was fair for me to break up with her over this. I just wanted to rant about my situation somewhere since I don't really have anyone else to talk to about this, and this is all I could think of. Any input is appreciated.
Today I messed up by glancing at my boyfriend's phone while out to dinner. This just happened last night. I was out to dinner with my boyfriend, and before the server took our order, I went to the bathroom. When I got back to sit down, my boyfriend's phone was open on the table and I happened to notice a message from someone with red hearts. I honestly at first thought nothing of it. I wasn't even trying to look at his phone. It just happened to be right there. I'm not a jealous person. He's never given me any reason to think he's cheating, and we have a very healthy relationship. I do, however, struggle with intrusive thoughts and trauma from people burning me in the past. I've been in therapy and I've made a lot of progress and haven't had any major episodes in a long time. But when my boyfriend immediately picked up his phone and says, "I have to text my boss real quick," I started to panic. I tried to tell myself I was being irrational. He literally could have had to text his boss and just remembered at that moment, and the hearts could have been from his mom for all I know. So I told myself to let it go because, like I said, he's never given me a reason to doubt him and we've always had a very trusting relationship. But for some reason every single thing he said and did that sent me into a spiral. I started rapidly switching between thinking I was being irrational for no reason whatsoever to thinking he's secretly a narcissist. Eventually it got to the point where I was on the verge of tears, and not because I genuinely thought he was cheating on me, but because I could feel myself spiraling, and it was upsetting considering I hadn't had an episode like this in years. I didn't want to say anything to him cause I felt dumb, but knew if I didn't talk to him about it, it was going to eat me up inside, regardless of how irrational I knew my thinking was. So I told him what I saw and how I was feeling, and he immediately grabbed his phone and showed me every person he's talked to today, but it turned out that the hearts were actually on a text from me. Before I went to the bathroom I had texted him my orders so that he could tell the server if he came while I was gone, which I completely forgot about. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I apologized 100 times and told him I truly didn't think he was cheating, but I definitely let the intrusive thoughts win that time. He wasn't upset and we laughed about it and had a great rest of our night.
Update. My girlfriend dated me because of a dare. I honestly didn't expect to post an update so soon, but since I did agree to pick up my things today while also dropping hers off, I don't know why I expected nothing to happen. A lot of you pointed out about she may have fallen in love with me during our relationship. It doesn't matter if she did or not. She broke my trust and I'm no longer attracted to her after yesterday. She allowed her friends to talk crap about me and plotted to destroy my reputation. She's weak-minded and I'm not going to further date someone who will pick their abusive friends over their romantic interest. Do I feel bad? A little, but I tried warning her and she did not listen. Now on to the actual update. So I went to my ex's house with a friend of mine since in no way in hell I'm going there alone. It was right before school. I didn't see my things outside so I rung the doorbell. Her father came out and handed my things while I gave him her things. He asked if I had cheated on her since she's crying in her room about it. So yeah, more of you were right about them spreading rumors and trying to blast me. I explained I didn't and even showed the screenshots I had on my phone. I ended up sending him it through his phone number. He thanked me and said he'll take a look at it. I told him if he didn't believe me through this then look at her phone. My friend and I left to go back home and get ready for school. I'm happy I got my guitar back since it's really the only thing I valued. After school, I got a call from my ex's dad. He apologized for the accusations and found the group chat of the girls and the hookup plans. He said he was going to punish his daughter and find these friends' parents. He got their names already and he's prodding my ex to know where they live. I told him he could use my screenshots as evidence to back me up. Props to the dad for being calm about this. That's really all that happened. I know her dad and he's a scary man. He's 6 feet and built. He can be very intimidating and I know my ex will give up the information. It's only matter of time the girls will fall. I'll be keeping an eye out since I have a week left of school. If anything happens, I'll post another update. I'm not interested in finding their socials and seeing if they already started spreading the whole cheating rumors. I'm sure they did. However, everything was fine at school. But now it's the weekend, so I may receive some backlash when I return. I honestly don't care. I already got accepted into a college and I'm ditching this place. I just need to survive a week and graduation. My ex's dad will do all the heavy work.
My boyfriend took his shirt off in front of me for the first time. My boyfriend and I have been together for 8 months and he has been hesitant to take his shirt off around me. He was essayed by one of his uncles from the age of 9 until he was 13 years old and the trauma he has is still there. He never took his shirt off as a kid and gets really uncomfortable when people touch him. He didn't let me hug him or hold his hand the first month we were together, and the first time he asked for a hug I nearly cried. He is the most handsome man in the world and has the biggest heart imaginable. I'm happy to be his girlfriend. He is really into fitness and goes to the gym almost every day. He started working out when he was 15 as a way for him to take back control of his body and he really enjoys it. He struggles with anxiety and considers me and the gym his safe spaces. He has really nice body and works hard to maintain his physique. Last night he came to my apartment and was complaining about being sore. We were laying on my bed watching TV and he kept moving around and trying to get comfortable. He fell down some stairs 2 months ago and sprained his AC joint, and yesterday was the first time he has been able to work out that shoulder. He was really uncomfortable, so I asked him if I could rub and massage it for him. He shut the idea down, but I assured him that he was safe with me and I would not do anything to him he didn't want. He was still unsure but said he wanted to take this step with me. I offered to take my shirt off with him and after a minute of reassurance he agreed. We took off our shirts and he looked so beautiful. He moved up in front of me and I began rubbing his shoulders. He flinched at first but relaxed and said it was helping. He asked me not to touch his lower back, so I stayed around his shoulders and neck. I massaged his shoulders for about a half hour and told him all the things I love about him, and he was so calm and relaxed. He spent the night and when I woke up this morning he was in between my arms. We didn't go to sleep like that, so he must have moved next to me in the middle of the night. I started rubbing his back and he woke up and moved closer. It was our first time sharing a moment of intimacy and it was so beautiful. He left an hour later and sent me a text thanking me for treating him with love and respect. I did it. He trusts me with his body. I will love and respect him for as long as I live. I punched an autistic kid after he groped me and now everyone hates me. That grope was the last straw. I have known Troy since kindergarten and he has always been babied. It was always his autism that made him who he was. I don't know why, but he always had a crush on me. I rejected him gently multiple times, but he never took no for an answer. As we grew older, he got worse. He started commenting on my chest, asking to touch them, asking to see them. His friends kept trying to convince me to show him because nobody would be nice enough to give him a chance, and in year 7, 6th grade, he started groping me. I told teachers but they kept saying that his autism doesn't make him know any better. It was only me. He got jealous when I was in the presence of another guy. He would have meltdowns and I got into trouble because I knew how upset he would get. No, I didn't. It was like my only purpose was to be his. I wasn't allowed to be my own person. The groping continued. I kept telling him to stop. He didn't listen. I remember crying on the floor and teachers just kept saying that his autism makes him like this and that I am being a good person by taking care of him. His groping hurt. I don't know how to explain it. He just grabbed me hard, and it hurt. The groping continued for 4 years. I was always his caretaker, his girlfriend, his best friend, I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't take it anymore. It was hot and I wore a skirt, and he proceeded to do it to me. I lost it and p***ed him around the nose. His nose got broken and unfortunately now I am getting put into isolation for 2 months for bullying an autistic kid. He's not a kid though, he's a 16-year-old. He acts normal around his friends, he treats everyone else with respect. He's not a kid. Now everyone hates me. I have been receiving death threats and people have been saying he should have done worse. Now all I want to do is curl up and pass away. Maybe I should have been nicer. Maybe I should have been more sympathetic. Maybe I should have just accepted it. I could have been his only chance. For the record, I don't despise autistic people. He is not a representative of them. He is just an awful person. Troy is just a horrible person. Thank you for letting me vent. My boyfriend takes advantage of being a golden retriever, and I am fed up. I, 28 female, have been with my boyfriend, 29 male, for 6 years, and we've been living together for the past 2. He's a giant, dorky, handsome gamer with a naive, childlike heart. Recently he went on a work trip with a new colleague, 29 female, and came back on cloud 9. Shortly after, I noticed he was hiding his phone. I asked if he noticed he was doing so. He said, "Oh, no." A few days later I explicitly asked if he was texting his colleague. He said yes, and I lied before when you asked, because I didn't want you to get the wrong idea. We had been going through some other relationship issues related to his avoidant attachment, so I believed him, but asked if he could slow down building this new relationship as we worked to fix ours. He agreed. He's a golden retriever. He just wanted everyone to be happy. 2 days later I felt what can only be explained as women's intuition, or maybe it was a bad falafel. I asked to see his phone, which I've never done. Sure enough, hundreds of photos were shared with the colleague over the last few weeks and messages shared with her while I was left unread. I asked to see Instagram, and he added and DM'd her, mere hours after I had asked him to slow things down. I thought the messages were flirtatious, talking about showers, how it's dangerous to go against HR and add her on Instagram, but he assured me that he was not capable of that. Again, he's just a cuddly dog. A week later, he told me that he told his colleague that I was uncomfortable with their relationship. I wish he hadn't aired our problems out to her or blamed me. Then he asked me if he could start texting her out of work hours again. He feels bad that he made things awkward. All throughout this he still neglected our underlying relationship problems and instead prioritized her and her needs. When I call him out, it's my fault for assuming such a lovable guy could be capable of such calculated betrayal. He's close friends with 2 of his exes, so I don't have a problem with him having female friends, but this is different. Am I overreacting, or just stupid?